Hey there, all my ant lovers. Off by reading the story Ants. Remember, this was a nonfiction story. What does that mean? Nonfiction, how can we tell? It's a nonfiction book because it has real pictures inside of it. It also has, if you remember, the table of contents that tells us what kind of information we're going to learn. It has facts inside. And when we read this, we read it for a purpose. We read to learn facts and to learn something new. So our nonfiction story was Ants. And I was super impressed because yesterday at our morning meeting, I asked you guys to give me just a few facts. And I'm going to read back to you some of the facts that you told me. They were all awesome. Somebody said that ants eat birds. Ants live in a colony. The queens lay the eggs. Ants eat dead animals. Ants are good for the soil. Ants dig tunnels and have little rooms. There are ants called worker ants. And the worker ants do so many things. They collect food, guard the nest, dig tunnels, take care of the eggs, larvae, and pupa. There are many different kinds of ants. And to be exact, there are a quadrillion. Fire ants are poisonous. And I was so proud of you guys for all of those facts that you came up with. So that tells me that you were actually really paying attention and listening to the lesson. So we started off by reading the story. We did the body parts of the ant. So today we're going to do the life cycle of an ant. And I'm just going to go back in here and I'm going to just read a little bit to you about an ant's life. It's just one page. And it talks about the life cycle. And then I'm going to take you over to my anchor chart and we're going to go over it. So an ant's life. The queen is the biggest ant in a colony, and she lays eggs all day long. That's her only job. When the eggs hatch, they have little larvae, and the little larvae are the worms. I don't know if you remember us saying that, but a larva is like a little worm type thing, and they wiggle out. And all the worm does is eat, 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 and eat. And once that worm is done eating, and it's big, fat, and plump, it turns into a larva, all right? And then the larva turns into a pupa, and the pupa does not move. It doesn't eat, and it just almost like a butterfly cocoon, it stays inside, and then after a few weeks, they turn into adults. So I'm gonna kind of bring you my screen really quick because this is such a cool book. So this is the queen right here, and she's laying all these eggs. See these little white kind of transparent things? Those are all of the eggs inside. And then they turn into a little larva, which is the little worm-like thing, and that's all they do is eat, eat, eat. And then right here, this is the pupa. And all of the other ants, some of the worker ants, take care of those pupa. And if you can see really, really carefully, an ant is actually developing inside of that pupa. You can even see his eye and some of his body parts there. So it's really, really cool. So if you take a look at my chart right here, you're going to see, let me move my chair for a second. You're going to see the life cycle, and I'm going to show you another one close up, but you're going to see life cycle of an ant. And so just like I just read to you, it starts off by the queen laying the egg, and these little white things that are eggs turn into larvae, and the larva is like a little worm, and all it does is eat, 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 and eat. And then eventually it turns into a pupa, almost like it's a little cocoon. And then it develops in there or grows in there for 2 weeks. And then finally, it opens up out of that pupa and becomes an adult ant. And then it starts all over again. All right? And remember, we talked about this at the very beginning of the year, but what is a living object? A living object that's something that eats, moves, changes, and grows. And so is the ant a living object? Yes, because it eats, it moves, it changes, and it grows. So, and let me just show you really quickly. So this is a little bit of a closer photo, but you can see there's the eggs, and then, oops, wrong way. And this is actually a good picture of the larva. So those are those little worm-looking things. And then the pupa. And then the pupa eventually breaks out and becomes an adult ant. Okay, so today, guys, what you're going to work on, and it's on Seesaw, you're going to be working on creating your own life cycle of an ant. So if you have the capability, I would definitely recommend that you print that out, and then you're going to be able to cut your pieces out and glue them in, and then you can color them at the end. Okay? And if you don't have the capability, you can draw it inside, or you can just take a plain piece of paper, right? And you can always just draw your own life cycle of an ant. You can label it at the top, write the different stages, and then you can go ahead and take a picture of that on Seesaw and just send it to me. All right, so I think you guys are really enjoying our insect unit, and I can't wait to see your life cycles, and I will see you back here again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna have something really fun for you guys to do. Okay?